What's up, you guys? Ross Sapp, managing editor, Fightful.com, FightfulMMA.com. Here with a news update for you. Ray Borg, suffering from undisclosed medical issues and has been pulled from this Saturday night's UFC Fight Night Denver card, according to MMA Junkie. The UFC doesn't have enough time to find a suitable replacement for Benavidez to fight, meaning that he will be pulled from the card as well. A bout between Beneil Dariush and Thiago Moses has been moved from the Fox Sports 1 portion of the card to the main card. And Mike Perry, who is competing out of Team Jackson Winklejohn, says that the fighter isn't injured, but is scared to fight this weekend. He said, quote, "He's not fighting on this card? Oh, man, that illness is, man. He got caught, bro. He was talking shit about Frank the Tank on his wife's Instagram story in the background. We heard him talking. I don't like Frank the Tank. I don't think he's a good coach, and this and that. You don't know nothing about Frank. He's just a fucking hater, and that's why his bitch ass ain't showing up this week to fucking fight like a man. Sick. You come down with illness. Bitch, you scared." So keep in mind, this is essentially the fourth straight fight that Borg has had moved, canceled, something of the sort. He had personal issues back in May when he was planning to face Brandon Moreno, that in relation to his child. He was injured from the bus attack from Conor McGregor in April. Then in February, the fight was actually rescheduled. He did lose to Demetrius Johnson last year, but was supposed to fight him a month before, but came down with an illness. In September 2016, he came down with an illness. And in July 2016, an injury forced him out of his planned fight with Freddie Serrano. He was also forced out of a 2014 fight due to injury. So he's been forced out of an awful lot of fights, and that's not great territory to be in if you are a UFC flyweight at this point. So if you're Ray Borg, despite your issues that you're facing, that's not good. That's not good. We did get more unfortunate news. Paulo Costa injured, not fighting at UFC Brooklyn against Yoel Romero. They were rumored to be fighting this January, but the bout was never officially announced by the UFC. But Ariel Helwani of ESPN says that Costa has suffered an injury. The extent is unknown, but he is out of that show. Some positive fight news, however. TJ Dillashaw defends the bantamweight title against Henry Cejudo at UFC 233. This seemed like it was going to happen. I mean, Henry Cejudo is the UFC flyweight champion, and the division is going away. This makes a little bit more sense than Henry Cejudo jumping up in weight for a division that was still active to face Dillashaw. I had a problem with this fight before. I didn't think that Henry Cejudo really did anything outside of a close fight with Demetrius Johnson to warrant a bantamweight title shot. However, had Demetrius Johnson won that fight, he would have cleared out the division. But this fight, reasonable, makes sense. UFC 233 in Anaheim. They're adding more stuff to that show up against the Bellator show that will go on that night. They also have to battle WWE NXT TakeOver Phoenix, I believe it is. Also added to that show, Dominic Cruz against John Lineker. Dominic Cruz, you never know if he's going to fight until he shows up to the fight these days. He is very injury-prone, but this is the type of fight that can get him right back in the title picture. And if John Lineker wins, it's title shot time for him. He is a two-time, he being Cruz, is the former two-time bantamweight champion. So this card is getting some nice stuff added to it as we get closer to the ESPN era. Also, Charles Oliveira versus Jim Miller 2, set for UFC on Fox 31 in Wisconsin. These two are staples of the 145, 155-pound division. I mean, they've been around forever. Charles Oliveira sets records for most submissions in the UFC. Nice fight added to UFC Milwaukee. What fight are you most excited about? Let us know. Check out the beautiful Fightful.com. We have that feature up on Donald Cerrone right now. Leave a thumbs up, subscribe. We're out.